What's up everyone, welcome back to Seiya Awakening. We're back for another new banner review, and this time we have the 5th SS unit available in the game. It's the God of Death, THANATOS, and the God of Death is the perfect name for him because that is his mission. He is gonna wreck your... THANATOS became available yesterday and he's going to be in the banner for 2 weeks. His training event also lasts for 2 weeks. He may be the strongest attacker released into the game so far. The amount of damage that he does and the way that he does it is just ridiculous. We're going to start as always with his skills to find out exactly what makes him so special. The first thing you must know is that, like many of the recent Saints, he has a unique mechanic that only applies to him. Just like Mew has his psychokinesis, like Cannon has his determination, THANATOS is pissed off so he has anger. This anger that he can accumulate works very similarly to Mew's psychokinesis. It affects what happens with the other skills, and there's also something special that happens when we reach maximum fury. The first effect of anger is that it increases our physical attack by 1% for each point of anger we have. Now, we always start the fight with 30 anger, and the maximum that we can have is 100. That means we start with a 30% attack boost, and we can actually double his attack when we reach 100. That anger is gained by using his abilities, but also passively. Whenever he is attacked, or any of his allies is attacked, he gains 5 anger automatically. His first skill is a very simple individual type attack, and he is a physical attacker. It starts with 120% multiplier, can be taken up all the way to 170 with skill ups, and he also gets a little bit of anger when he uses it. Nothing very special here, but at least it does have this added effect. The second one, the Terrifying Fate, is also an individual attack, but this one is going to hit our target 5 times. Each one of those attacks is going to do 50% physical damage on skill level 1 and 100% physical damage on skill level 5. That means we can take it from 250% total to 500. In addition, THANATOS also gains 10 anger when he uses the skill. And this is important. It's not 10 anger by each one of these attacks. It's 10 anger in total when you use the skill. If not, that would be broken as hell because on max skill, he gets 20 anger. So if it was 1 for each hit, you would reach 100 with just 1 attack. Additionally, if he's below a certain amount of anger, he will automatically get more. So if we use this skill and we have less than 40, we're gonna get a bonus of 5. On max skill, if we're under 60, which is quite a bit, we get an additional 20. Lastly, when an ally dies, he also gets pissed off and gets more anger. This is not an incredibly complicated skill. It's a little bit of damage and a lot of accumulation of anger. The third one, the first of his 2 passives, is called Final Might. This passive lets THANATOS release an AoE attack when his anger reaches 100. That's the maximum we can have. This AoE attack does true damage, meaning that it's not physical, it's not Cosmo, it doesn't care about critical damage. Now remember that each point of anger gives us 1% physical attack. This skill is released when we reach 100 anger. That means we're gonna have a boost of 100% physical attack at that moment. This skill will also shatter the enemies, and what the heck does shatter mean? First, it's gonna break their physical and Cosmo defense, thus increasing the damage that we do with other units as well. And secondly, it's gonna do something insane. It's going to disable their legendary Cosmo for 1 round. This is similar to what Krishna does, except this guy does it 100% and the skill doesn't cost any energy and it activates automatically whether it's THANATOS' turn or not. That is freaking ridiculous because you can turn off, for example, Dragon Teeth and then kill that unit off with another attacker before it has a chance to move. Because it only lasts 1 round, then if that unit does move, the effect of the legendary Cosmo comes back. As if all of that grossness was not enough, this passive also gives THANATOS the ability to come out of control if he's in a controlled state when it's going to activate. So let's say that when you reach that 100 of anger, you're frozen or you're stunned or whatever, THANATOS doesn't give a crap, he comes out of that control state and he uses the attack. There's only 3 exceptions to this rule. That's going to be Devour, which is what that B rank armor can do, Exile, which is Cannon's triangle, and Fight to the Death, which is Ares. Now this last one is very interesting because I don't think that Ares will prevent THANATOS from using this passive. I think what it refers to is that he can't come out of that state of being in Ares, right? He'll still activate his passive, but he won't break that control state. So on his next move, he's still going to be under Ares and he's going to use his default skill. Either way, it's freaking ridiculous because that means that really strong control skills like Black Ice, like Shun's Chain that lasts for 2 rounds, even Hypno's Nightmare, none of those things work. He will come out of the control and he'll hit you. That same garbage applies to the second passive, which is his 4th skill. With this one, THANATOS can mark a unit on the enemy team, and after that enemy unit moves a certain number of times, THANATOS will release a massive individual nuke. How massive? It starts with 1000% multiplier and goes all the way up to 1300. Besides that, if he has a good level of anger, he will do additional damage on top of the regular multiplier. On skill level 1, the additional damage is 20% if we're over 60 anger, but if we skill it up, and that's why this one is so important, we reduce that threshold to only 40. So we only have to have 40 anger, and we'll do an additional 50%. This thing is stupid, and it's why everybody has been calling this update the death of Milo. Milo is a unit that we usually double turn. He moves kind of quickly, so he's not really gonna have Shidia's protection or anything like that. If THANATOS can mark him turn 1, and then Milo moves twice, that's it. GG. One of the few ways to prevent it would be with Divine Shun's Chain, which is one of his biggest counters, and we'll mention that in more detail soon. Again, remember that this immunity to control also applies to this skill. It's the third one and the fourth. This Gaze of Death can be activated either by using his first skill or his second. It can also happen automatically. One very important thing to remember is that you can't change target. Once you put the Gaze of Death on someone, that unit has to die before you can target anybody else. Now, let's say you kill that unit, right? There's no mark on anybody at that point. The very next unit that you touch is going to get the Death Gaze again. And if that attack happens automatically with his AoE because his anger filled, then I'm actually not quite sure how the computer decides which unit to target. It may be random, it may be the fastest, it may be the strongest, it may be the slowest. I'm gonna have to do a lot more testing to find out exactly what the mechanic is, but I do want to remind you of that. You cannot change targets without killing the first unit. When it comes time for skill ups, Thanatos is one of the least expensive SS units, at least to be functional. All of his skills have 100% activation rate. There's nothing that you're gonna miss out on if you can't skill him up, but what does improve greatly is the level of damage and how fast his fourth skill is triggered. For a super basic Thanatos, you can leave skill 1 at only level 1. The only thing you get is a little bit more damage, a little bit more anger, but this is something we're gonna use very rarely. That's because his second skill only costs 2 energy. On a basic Thanatos though, we would also leave this at level 1. That's actually how I'm leaving mine for now because it's too many tomes. Skill 3 for a basic Thanatos you can take to level 2, and really that's gonna be only because you need 2 skills on level 2 for all of the 8 cents. If that wasn't a requirement for 8 cents, on a basic Thanatos you can actually leave this at 1 as well. His fourth skill is a different story. Now, on an ultra basic, super low resource Thanatos, you can leave this at level 3 because then you only need the enemy to move 3 times in order for the big nuke to happen, but ideally guys, you really want to have this skill on 5. It's not so much about the damage because the level of damage is already ridiculous, it's the number of turns that the enemy has to take. If you have this on 5, any double turn unit, Athena SS, Hypnos, Divine Shiryu, anybody you give 2 turns with Hashun or with Luna, if you mark them on round 1 and then they move twice, they're going to die. It's really hard to survive this thing. I think the only one that can probably do it is Divine Shiryu. Basic Thanatos then we're gonna say 1, 1, 2, 5. That's a total of 22 tomes. Now obviously if we have the resources we want to take this further, so let's look at what a really good Thanatos would look like. The first one you can leave on level 1 again, you're not going to use it very often. The level of damage on the second one increases quite a bit with skill ups, but it's a really high cost. The focus on Thanatos should be his 2 passives. These are the ones that are going to do the big damage. If you have a huge amount of resources, you're a super space whale and you want to power this one up, there is no limit. You can take it to 5 if you want, you can take it to 3. For the purpose of this guide, we're going to say you can leave it on 1 and we're going to focus on the other 2. The third skill, ideally on a really strong Thanatos, would be on level 5. I've left it at 4 for now because that's 8 more tomes and I'm running super low, but at level 5 you're going to be doing a massive amount of damage, and if you have hopes of competing in really high level PvP, that's where you're going to need it. The fourth one for the basic Thanatos, we already set level 5, so that's where it's going to stay for the super Thanatos. That gives you the maximum amount of damage, only 2 turns to kill, and that brings our super Thanatos to 1-1-5-5. That's a total of 40 tomes, and I reiterate that the second one is optional. We're gonna say optional. If you have the resources, definitely bring it up. If you're running low, you can function with just the last 2. Over on 8 cents, because he is mostly a PvP character, eventually we're gonna want everything at 6. My priorities would be Gamma with physical attack and lifesteal, then Alpha with physical attack and speed, followed by Delta with HP and resistance to damage, and lastly Beta with HP and status resistance, and that's because he's immune to most status effects. Now let's talk about Cosmo, and he is a little bit complicated in that we have 2 ways that we can play him. We can go with a really fast Thanatos that we can mark an enemy unit on turn 1, and then if that enemy unit moves twice, it's gone. You can also play a slow Thanatos that moves at the end of the first round, and that way he has a lot of time to build up that anger. If you're gonna do that, make sure to bring in protection though. Lastly, there's a hybrid. There's a combination that we can do that's kind of halfway. It gives you the benefit of moving fast, and after a round you can also move at the end and take advantage of accumulating anger. Let's start with the red then, where we have 3 different options for physical attackers. The best one, in my opinion, would be Viper. This is the premium choice, the pay-to-win choice. This Cosmo is not farmable yet. If you have a really good set, you can put it on him, no problem. However, that's not easy to do. I can't do it. All of my Vipers suck. That's why I choose Fire Drop, which gives us physical attack, peak crit effect, which affects his 4th skill but not his 3rd. Remember, his 3rd skill is true damage, but it also gives us HP, and his base HP is really high. This 10% multiplier is actually quite a decent boost. The flat physical attack would usually be a no-no, but the problem is that his physical attack is actually really low as well. If this thing was higher, he would just delete everything instantly. So they purposely nerf his physical attack, which means that flat stats are actually not horrible. The last option is Physical Stone, and the total boost that he gets is slightly higher, but it's only by a few points. If we go with Physical Stone, we sacrifice the HP we gained from prior drop and also the chance of getting this crit effect on his second and fourth skills. Over on Lunar, it doesn't really matter. Like most of the recent Saints, most of the options will work well as long as you have the proper substats. The only ones that don't really quite fit are Seiya and Jade, because he doesn't need status hit, and Knowing is not too great on him either because this resistance is wasted. Remember, he can come out of control like nothing. All of this resistance has almost no effect on him because you can't even resist Cannon's triangle anyway. On Star, we have two options as well, and remember we said we have an option of going fast or slow. If you're going fast, then Crystal Fire obviously gives us physical attack, speed, and also some physical defense Pierce. Staunch gives us a huge boost to our peak crit level, which affects our second and fourth skills, and it also gives us a little bit of HP. In my case, I like the option of being able to mark somebody at the beginning of the round. That's why I chose to go with Crystal Fire. I also happen to have some decent ones with Lifesteal, and here you might be thinking that I'm going with a fast Thanatos and I'm using Two-Horn Snake. In most cases, that doesn't make sense, but remember, his fourth skill is a passive. It activates after the enemy moves. We're gonna take full advantage of this 40% extra damage. It's not the only option though. There's another really good one, which is Chimera, which is a Cosmo that not a lot of units use, and this is the one that lets us have the combination of a really fast Thanatos and then make him slow and hit harder. With Chimera, we can go full speed ahead, mark somebody on that first round, and then when we do that first attack, we're gonna get the physical attack boost, the crit boost, but we're also gonna lose speed, which is gonna push us to the end of the following round. Remember though that if you're bringing a slow Thanatos, you have to protect him. Divine Shiryu might not be an option because of the speed loss. You might not know where you end in the turns, so really his best friend is Divine Shun. Both options are really interesting, but at the end of the day, I went with Two-Horn Snake simply because I have a really good one. I wanted to put this to good use on somebody, and I want to play with Thanatos at least for this week. If I happen to pull a Chimera that's this good, then I might replace it. In substats, we're going to be looking exactly for this with the addition of HP. He's going to need physical attack. Peak crit level does help, but it shouldn't be your primary focus. HP, on the other hand, goes really well on him. He doesn't need resistance, and lifesteal is amazing. He hits so hard that he can be at 10% HP, and with maybe 20% lifesteal, he'll heal to full. Moving over to teams, he's also an extremely strong unit because he fits anywhere. His two big attacks happen automatically and happen without energy. That means you can put him in almost any team and he'll fulfill his function. The one thing that is really important with him is to protect him in some way. It takes time for that anger to build up. You have to keep him alive long enough for him to be effective. You can do this in classical ways with like a Mu shield, a Shion shield, or with June, or you can use the more advanced ways like Divine Shiryu and Divine Shun, which are very, very popular right now. Whichever way you do it, just make sure you protect him and then just watch him wreck faces. In individual combinations that we can mention, there's Radamantis, because Thanatos is a physical attacker. He can crit and he can charge his wings. There's also a fun combination with Minos, because you can force the enemy to get 2 turns. What you would do is you mark a unit on the enemy team, and then with Minos you control either Hashun or Luna and force that unit to move twice. If you have your 4th skill at max, then that unit is deleted. Ichi can help if you're going with a slow Thanatos, because you can give him the turn on round 1, make sure you mark somebody that's really dangerous, and then Thanatos will just move back to the end of the line where he belongs. Other than that, it's really open, guys. He can go anywhere. He can go in high energy teams because he doesn't need any himself. He can go in fast teams. He can go in turtle teams. He can go pretty much anywhere. We're going to see him in most arena defenses. We're definitely going to see him in Galactic Duel for this week because we can't ban him. He's going to be a major player in Jameer because all of the big guys probably already pulled him, already skilled him up, and it's going to be a matter of who could do more. He has some uses in PvE as well because his damage is massive and it happens automatically. So in PvE, you could just turtle up, defend a lot, and then just let him do his thing on his own. Specifically, he's used to counter double turn units such as poor Milo, and also to counter AoE, because every time that an ally is touched, his anger increases. If we get hit with an AoE attack, that's 6 hits total. That's 30% anger right away. Now his weaknesses, which I think is going to be an important subject, especially this week, are not too many. Now we know which units he's weak against. He can be swallowed up by the armor, which almost nobody uses, but he can also be triangled by cannon, and I think that's going to be one of the major counters because there's a lot of people that have cannon built. Either they built him to do the chicken combo or they are built him for PvE. If you can triangle him, then he cannot attack with his passives. Aside from that, the best way to deal with him is to kill him. Kill him as fast as possible, get him the heck out of there before he can get pissed off. We're gonna see a lot of Ichi Sagittarius. It's one of the few units that can one-shot almost anything in the game. Gemini Cannon does a lot of damage, but with Hashun in the team, then he can't really kill on that first turn. If you don't kill him right away, he's gonna be protected by someone, and then you're stuck. Mu is a decent counter as well, because you can put a lot of shields on your team, and then with the automatic attack from Thanatos Thanatos triggers, those shields will absorb the damage and then Mu can return it. The problem is, if you double turn Mu to put a lot of shields up, Thanatos can mark Mu, and on Mu's second movement, it's GG. Anyway, worth mentioning because I think with his rebirth that is coming up in the future, it becomes even stronger. Now we're gonna go to a demonstration in Arena, and I think what we're gonna do is try to bring a really turtle team, a lot of protection for him, and just kind of let him do his own thing automatically. I'm gonna try to use skills as little as possible and just kill everything with his passives alone. This is the gross team that we're gonna use. June, Athena, Thanatos, Shun to protect him, Divine Shiryu to protect Shun and to protect Hashun, and the only reason Hashun is here is Gemini Cannon. It's also the only form of healing with bringing, but I think this is more than enough to kill almost anything. I'm gonna see if I can find somebody that uses some sort of AoE so we can trigger a lot of his automatic attacks. And that's a lot easier to say than to do because pretty much nobody uses AoE right now. I think I'm gonna do something stupid. I'm going to fight Ultima, which usually finished rank 1 in Arena, and we're gonna try to get rid of his Pisces first and foremost. Then I gotta deal with Thanatos and Shun protected by Shiryu, and then I don't think we can win this. Wait, the turn order here inside is different. Why is this different? I don't care. I'm gonna go with my turtle team, but now we have a really big problem. The turn order is different, meaning that this Pisces, I cannot just get rid of him. What I can get rid of is Shun, but more likely than not, this Shun is gonna have Dragon Teeth. Now, this is a problem, guys. This is a really big problem. Now, the first unit that we touch with Thanatos is going to get marked with the Eye of Death. Okay, it's the Eye of Sauron. You're going to see it. As soon as I put it on, you're going to see exactly what I'm talking about. Can I change the order of the teams here, of the protection here? Let me see. No, he still moves. Nah, still moves. Oh my god, and he got protected by Shun as well. Now, very important, guys. On the first movement, you have to attack the unit that you want to mark. Do not touch someone that you don't want to mark with the Gaze of Death. We're going to put it on Shun. But, you know, when that thing activates after 2 movements, for sure, that Shun is going to have Dragon Teeth. That's the way you play Shun right now. I'm going to protect Thanatos for now, of course. I'm going to use Shiryu to protect my Shun. And I'm going to put one of these marks on... Who do you think they're going to touch? I think they're going to touch definitely June. Oh, June got marked by the Eye of Doom, bro. Oh, this is bad. I'm going to double turn Thanatos, although the double turn mechanic on him is not that great. He doesn't really accumulate too much anger with his movements. It's more about what the enemy does. And notice this little pink bar. Every time that an enemy unit attacks me, that pink bar is going to go up. And that can be an attack to Thanatos or any of my allies. It's going to go up by 5. This bar is divided into 5 segments. Do you see that? That's because the maximum is 100, meaning each one of these segments represents about 20 anger. I'm actually completely unsure of what to do here. I am almost 100% sure that this Shun is not going to die. Alright, so I'm going to start touching up people here all over the place. Now notice, my Eye of Sauron does not switch. Wait, did we change the protection? We did actually change the protection. This Pisces is unprotected. The Shiryu is protecting Thanatos and Shun. I'm freaking blind, guys. I am actually blind. I'm going to try to get rid of this Pisces as soon as possible then, because I can't change targets, right? Once I mark somebody with a, here comes the first AoE, because I attacked them so many times. Okay, we counter, but we counter the chain, and now, you see that? His AoE charges up my anger, and then my guy releases the AoE. This Pisces is going to shoot about 1,500 flowers right now. The enemy Thanatos has not moved. Oh my god, we're gonna do this again, although, like I said, the double turn mechanic on him is actually not that great. Here comes Thanatos, he goes on my Shiryu, doesn't matter, we counter the chain, and here comes Pisces with 1,500 flowers. Fortunately, a lot of them seem to have gone towards the chain. Cannon definitely attacks it. Cannon is so stupid on auto defense, guys. Now, you know what? I'm going to die, I think, after this movement, because this is round 3. If I put Divine, that's gonna distribute the damage to all of my units. So, I'm sorry, June. I'm actually really sorry, baby. Oh, that wasn't the last one? She gets eliminated anyway. She's gone. What is it? The order of the factors does not alter the results. How does the mathematical equation thing go? Ay, what do we do here? 4 energy. Do I need energy on anyone? I'm not gonna do it. Oh, keep touching this guy. When this Shun moves, he's gonna take a big bam. Boom! It does 56,000 because he's protected by Shiryu. Okay, so we did 56,000 even through Shiryu's protection. Shiryu is really low, but so am I. So am I. I'm gonna leave 2 energy so that I can heal up with another AoE from the enemy, so that I can heal up with Shiryu. We do a counter, but it goes straight into the chain. so it doesn't matter. We do this one more time. The enemy Shiryu is almost dead. Fortunately, the Shiryu on automatic defense is also stupid. Guys, if we do this, can I kill this Shiryu? I think I can kill Shiryu. The problem is, this Pisces is going to annihilate me. Right? We kill Shiryu. Yeah, we kill Shiryu with the AoE. We heal up, but now my Thanatos is unprotected. My Thanatos is unprotected, but Pisces is not shooting roses at hidden units. So I'm going to hide him, and I'm actually going to double turn Shun in this next round. Okay, Cannon can't target me either. Oh, we go with an AoE from me. That kills... Look at that Pisces, bro. He has 1 HP. Are you kidding me, dude? Literally 1 HP Pisces. Stop! Oh, disaster averted. The storm from Shun does more damage. He goes on my Athena. Thank God for stupid AI. Oh my God. We're going to win this because the AI is stupid. That's really the only reason. This Athena is going to execute my dragon. Goodbye. Wait, do we win? Wait. Do we win? My Athena's still here. Oh, shh. Execute this guy. Execute this guy. Boom. With this guy, we can go pew pew, and that should uncover cannon. Yes. And we also trigger. We got full. We put the Eye of Sauron on the stupid ghost Athena. Good job, bro. Good job, but we win anyway. GG. That was an exciting fight. And that's gonna be it for today, guys. I don't know how I managed to suffer so much fighting an automatic battle in Arena. In summary, Thanatos is an amazing unit. He does a bunch of crap automatically. He hits hard as a truck. He is the embodiment of Bruto style, so it's definitely one of my favorite units so far. Because of the passive, it's really interesting to see how he actually plays against himself. Good luck to everybody that's trying to summon him. I do remind you guys, even though there's not a lot of dedicated English videos, most of the videos are getting subtitled, so check back every now and then. If you see the little CC sign under the video, that means the English subtitles are available. As always, I promise to keep doing these new banner reviews in English, always a dedicated video so that you can get all the information in an easy to understand manner. I thank you guys as always for your support. If you haven't already, please remember to hit like, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell, and I'll see you guys again very soon. Bye!